I didn't know I was an outgoing introvert. What is that? Aloha and welcome to today's episode of Iamaloha, Come Home to Your True Self. Today I wanted to take on the topic of introverts, or in my case, of outgoing introverts. Because otherwise it will be hard for me to talk to you guys. No, but there's one. I promised that I would tell you a little bit about my journey of the past year. And one of the things was that I went, the first stage that I had when I got to Nicaragua last year was that I stayed in a co-working and co-living space for digital nomads. And because I wanted to, it was like my beginning of my digital nomad life, and I wanted to get inspired by other people, see what they were doing, and somehow also find a community, because I was afraid of being alone. I was really afraid of being alone. I didn't know that too much by that time, and I wasn't prepared to admit that to myself too much. But yeah, in the end, that was the reason. So, and because before that, when I traveled, I used to go into dorms. I didn't mind mixed dorms. Hanging out with more people in hostels was okay for me. I liked the connection to other people, and I didn't mind staying in one room with others. Somehow that was easier for me than staying in one room with one person or two people. So when I decided to find the room in Nicaragua, I didn't want to spend all my savings, because by that time I was only living off of my savings. I didn't want to stay in one of the more expensive rooms. So I decided to stay in the 6-bed dorm, and ended up being the only girl in a 6-bed room. The rooms were okay, because I mean, you don't really spend time in the room so much when you have a full house to go to. But I had to share my bathroom with the 5 guys, and it's okay. I mean, also it's something you can survive. But maybe it's my age, I don't know. But I just want to accept that I'm at a place where I can't deal with that anymore. But I needed that to realize that. I needed to realize that staying in that house, that I'm not made for shared rooms that way anymore. And I guess that and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, please don't misunderstand me, but I just realized I needed my own space. And by my own space, I meant really my own bathroom and also my own kitchen, because I was sharing the kitchen with 35 other people. And the last month that I was staying there, it even got worse in a way that we had more people staying there, and especially like day people that weren't even staying there overnight. So we had to share the kitchen with those people as well. I'm not saying that the people in general were bad. I just realized that it was just too many people around me all the time. And that was for 10 weeks in total. I think I escaped for New Year's for 5 days to a hotel. And then I actually decided I need to get a place of my own. But that was one of the biggest realizations for me, that I'm actually an introvert. I actually need my own space. And even though I thought I was afraid of being alone, I was actually happy being alone. I was really happy being alone. And I've realized even more and more, but that was like the first step where I allowed myself to say, hey, I am an introvert. After some research, I realized the right, how do you say, nomenclature? No, the right name for what I am is outgoing introvert, because I like going out. I don't have trouble connecting with people. I just realized I need my space, and I need to go back, like to find my own room, to have the space where I can just be by myself and basically be myself. And I've realized it gets easier when I'm around people where I'm allowed to be myself, where I don't have the feeling that I have to adjust too much. But in general, it's still there, so it's still there, the need to be by myself. And it was so incredible, because being raised in a Latino family, you're actually, and not only the Latino side, I don't want to put that picture in there too much, but because my dad's also my dad's the German one, and he also likes having people around all the time. So they invite friends and, and I've been raised like that, always having people over. But when you're in your own place, then you have your room and, you can sort of like get out of the whole situation. But after realizing that I'm an introvert, I actually realized why I kept becoming very tired or very overwhelmed when I was surrounded by too many people for too long. And when I didn't have a space to myself. So I understood why going on vacation to visit my family was more exhausting to me than actually a vacation. And that it's way more, how do I put it? If I want to relax and if I really want to recover, I need to be by myself. And just knowing that is so important. And that's why I want to share it with you, because it took me a while to actually allow myself to give myself this name. Because again, being raised in a family like this, everybody expects you to or at least you think you are expected to just be everywhere and all over the place and with everybody and just hang out and do stuff. And that's the hard part. And allowing yourself to say, hey, you know what? I need a space to myself. I need a room for myself. I need to be by myself. I can't see anybody right now. And I need that for a whole day or for a whole week. And I need that. And actually allowing yourself to say that to yourself. And it doesn't mean you don't like people if you're an introvert, but it just says, it's all about setting boundaries and to say, hey, actually, I like being by myself. So that's why I wanted to tell you this, because I then realized the fear that I had in the beginning of being alone wasn't a real fear. I mean, yes, it is sort of like I felt like I wasn't going to be connected. But the funny thing is that for my second stay in Nicaragua, I found a place to myself. I was still surrounded by people. I made friends really fast with the lady at the coffee place I was staying. And I still had connections from before to other people. And there's always how do you say, the interesting thing about this world is that all over the place, there's Facebook groups where you can actually find people to connect with. So if you want to, you don't have to be by yourself. But if you want to be by yourself, you have the opportunity and you can do that. So that was something nice for me to realize. And that's why I wanted to tell you, because maybe you're also an introvert and maybe you just didn't know. And maybe you get overwhelmed being in big crowds or hanging out with too many people. So if you are one of those, if you were raised to adjust to everybody else and it's good for you and you love adjusting to everybody else, that's okay. That's good. But if you are overwhelmed by hanging out with too many people or doing too many stuff for other people and you feel like you're most comfortable when you are by yourself, then you probably are an outgoing introvert as well. Or maybe only an introvert. And it's not so bad to be one. It's good to know it because then you can actually set the boundaries properly. So take this as a good point for this year to see if you are an introvert, give yourself the space, find moments where you can be by yourself. And basically that's the main thing I want to give you today. Allow yourself to be that way. Allow yourself not to be the most sociable person. Allow yourself to say no to certain meetings that you have around you. It takes out a lot of pressure if you know that you are the way you are. And it gives you a lot more inner peace. For me, when I was in that place, in that co-working space, I felt like I was completely detached from myself. And the moment that I was able to be in a place by myself, I felt like I came back to who I am because I was feeling myself again. Of course, it also showed me that I have to look into why I keep feeling like I have to adjust with others. But that's a different topic for another day. But for now, I just wanted you to know this, because the better you know yourself, and if you acknowledge that you are that way, it gives you a different power over your own life, because that way, on one hand, you can explain. If you tell people that you're an introvert, a lot of people understand. Weirdly, a lot of people understand if you tell them that way. And it gives them an explanation why you need your space, and that you don't really, that it's not because you don't like them. So, you know what I mean? Because it's not like that. It's not like you don't like people. It's just that you like being by yourself. So yeah, I just wanted to put this one out there, because that was one of the first things I learned in Nicaragua. For next time, I'll give you more on my trip for last year. And for now, wishing you a great time. A big mahalo for listening in again. And if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel or to the podcast, or wherever you're listening into. Like my page, and if you know people that would be inspired as well by this, invite them in. And yeah, sending you a big hug, a big mahalo. Thank you. Bye-bye.